walk with me. And as we wander down the crowded street, even if we're shuffling our feet, you make me never want to miss a beat. We're meant to be. And if you lie with me under the sycamore tree, whether we're high or low, there's nowhere else I wanna go. Hold my hand, fall in love with footprints in the sand, and kiss each other while we watch the band. And everyone who knows us understands we're meant to be. And if you lie with me under the sycamore tree, whether we're high or low, there's nowhere else I wanna go. So walk with me as we wander down the crowded street, even if we're shuffling our feet. You make me never wanna miss a beat, never miss a beat. And if you lie with me under the sycamore tree, whether we're high or low, nowhere else I wanna go. And if you lie with me under the sycamore tree, whether we're high or low, nowhere else I wanna go. So walk with me, walk with me.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City of Cedar Falls Committee of the Whole meeting for Monday, June 15th. And I'll call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Here.
Latta, Nagel,
Here.
Hallbaker,
Here.
Fairbanks,
Here.
Chrisman,
Here.
Dunn,
Here.
Latta, not present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And that takes item number 1, the Gross Cedar Valley update. So many of the staff are here, let the record reflect. And whoever else would like to come up first. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. My name is Katie Susong. I am the President and CEO of Gross Cedar Valley and appreciate you all taking some time to hear our update this evening. I'm going to keep my comments brief and allow more time for my team to share some exciting updates on the things that we've accomplished in the last 6 months that are in alignment with our contract with the City of Cedar Falls. Before I do that, I just want to give a quick education on who we are as Gross Cedar Valley. I know we've got a couple new council members. Tom, you should be very familiar with what we do as an ambassador of our organization, but we're not going to quiz you today. Gross Cedar Valley is the economic development and chamber organization here in the Cedar Valley. So as the economic development organization, our role is to recruit new businesses to the Cedar Valley, as well as supporting our existing businesses by connecting them to resources that help their businesses thrive. We also do a lot of work in talent, retention, and attraction. We're going to talk about that tonight, but we're hearing more and more from our businesses that their biggest concern, or one of their biggest concerns, is talent. So we have really spent a lot of time and resource into making sure that we've got good tools and good initiatives to drive talent, retention, and attraction here in the Cedar Valley. We also have a team member that is focused on advocacy. So when we're talking to our businesses and our cities and we're hearing about legislative policies that could be harmful to our businesses and our communities, we are advocating at the state and federal level to ensure that the positions of this community are heard. As I said, we are a chamber of commerce as well, and so we're a member services organization, meaning that we've got members that pay to belong to Gross Cedar Valley, and for their investment in our organization, they're certainly contributing to the work that we do in economic development, but we provide opportunities for local businesses to connect and support each other, as well as opportunities for our businesses to send people to be developed at our different programs. That said, the work that we do in economic development, advocacy, and talent attraction and retention is not something that we do strictly for our members, but rather all businesses that call the Cedar Valley home. So I think that's an important call out because we really do exist to uplift this entire community. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Lisa Skubel to give her update on our external business development activities. Just a reminder, we do this every 6 months. So what you're going to hear about today is predominantly going to be the last 6 months of activity. So thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Economic development is often measured by projects that ultimately locate in a community, but much of that work occurs long before a company makes a decision. A significant portion of our efforts are focused on building relationships, generating leads, supporting existing businesses, and positioning Cedar Falls for future opportunities. Over the past 6 months, Gross Cedar Valley has continued an aggressive business attraction strategy. This spring, we launched a global lead generation initiative targeting industries identified through the Count Me In population study, which you'll hear more about. The industries that were talked about in the population study included advanced manufacturing, food processing, agrotech, biotechnology, software development, and emerging technologies. As part of that effort, more than 2,000 companies were contacted and reached out directly through phone calls, emails, and LinkedIn. That resulted in 7 virtual meetings with companies at various stages evaluating future expansion into the United States. We also participated in the Site Selection Guild annual conference. This is something we've done for the last 4 years. It's an opportunity for us to reconnect and connect with 50 leading site selection consultants who advise companies on location decisions globally. These relationships remain critical because consultants influence a significant percentage of corporate expansion projects announced each year. And in the past, with these 50 to 60 consultants that are part of this group, we have in the past and currently are working on active projects with these consultants on an individual basis. It's all about staying in front of them and reminding of your communities. And that's the purpose of the initiative, is to network and, as I often say, market to the marketers. Beyond business attraction, we continue to support entrepreneurship and small business growth. Planning is underway for the 2nd annual Cedar Valley Small Business Summit, and that's scheduled for November 12th at Benvenue Event Center. Interest has been strong from people who are interested in speaking at this event. We've received more than 30 speaker proposals to date, and it's really been a hard decision to pick which speakers that we want to feature at this year's event. From a project activity standpoint, Gross Cedar Valley is currently managing approximately 48 active business attraction projects, representing potential capital investment of more than $850 million and 2,000 potential jobs. And that's just during this period since the reporting period, since late November alone, there have been 11 new projects that have entered the pipeline, representing approximately $220 million in potential investment and 645 jobs. So I just wanted to break that down for you from our cumulative to what has occurred in the last 6 months. As always, it's important to remember that not every project will move forward, and many remain in exploratory stages. However, the overall pipeline demonstrates that Cedar Falls continues to be represented and marketed for manufacturing, logistics, food processing, agrotech, and international investment opportunities by Grow Cedar Valley. I'd just like to quickly close by thanking all of you for your collaboration over these years with Grow Cedar Valley, and we look forward to many more years of that same collaboration with our team. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adrienne Miller. I'm the Director of Business Services and Advocacy at Grow Cedar Valley. Before I dive into the Business Services and Advocacy, I am actually going to talk a little bit about Select USA Investment Summit. Shane and I were able to represent the Cedar Valley there, him respectfully the Cedar Falls area. Just looking at this summit is actually for international companies looking to do a landing or expand their businesses to the United States. So to give you an idea of how many countries were represented, there's over 100 countries represented and over 5,500 attendees at this conference or at this summit. We had 8 pre-scheduled meetings before going into the summit, but we held dozens of meetings while we were there through many different outlets with many investors, site selectors, Department of Commerce, even some embassy representatives from numerous countries from the area. So we continue to have those conversations today, and we'll keep in contact and try to bring some more of those businesses to the Cedar Valley. Moving into the business services, so we provide what my primary job is reaching out to businesses and making sure they have the resources that they need, whether that be workforce resources, incentive programs that they're looking to expand, and even problem-solving assistance. So, for instance, we had one business in the Cedar Valley that was closing down, so we were able to assist that process with them in taking care of their employees and making sure they were taken care of and placed after that business closed. So since November, we completed 10 more BRE visits, bringing the total for Cedar Falls to 31 visits, and that represents over 2,400 employees in the Cedar Falls area. And we are currently working with 2 Cedar Falls companies looking at expansion projects involving additional space, investment, and job growth as well. And that ties in with the government affairs and advocacy work that I do, primarily on the state level, but also on the federal level. We do create legislative priorities annually, so those really outline all the economic development initiatives that you can think of, so economic growth, workforce development, and community development within the Cedar Valley. We always are constantly having conversations with our state legislators and federal legislators on what our priorities are. If there are bills that come up, then we can have those conversations and point to our priorities and kind of let them know how those bills might affect our businesses and our community here. Like I said, we engage with them. Specifically this year was property taxes. That was a big one that we really kind of tried to dive into as much as we could with what the situation was given. But economic development incentives, TIF program was also affected in there, and then the workforce development programs as well, specifically the ones that Hawkeye provides. We were also in Washington, D.C. for the Cedar Valley Coalition trip with Mayor as well, and that included meetings with the federal reps, staffers, and then agencies like the Small Business Administration too, just letting them know what we have going on in the Cedar Valley, what we're looking for, and what our needs are as well. And also thanking them for the federal funds that we received for a lot of the projects in our area. And lastly, just a little bit about advocacy events. We had 7 advocacy events this past year, and we had 378 total participants within them. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, historically, a couple of years ago, if you came to one of our Friday forums, you'd see probably 10 to 15 people there. We're averaging at least 30 individuals up to 65 individuals is who we saw this year for those Friday forums. We also have 2 legislative receptions, a pre-session reception, and then this year we added a collaborative reception for with Regent Communities, Iowa City, and Ames. We had a great turnout from the Cedar Valley at that as well in Des Moines. That was in the middle of session. So we really wanted to kind of enforce that advocacy is growing in the area and people are becoming more involved within that. And I would really invite you to come out to any of our events. We have them starting back up this fall. So be on the lookout. You are more than welcome to attend any of our advocacy events as well. That's just a good way to collaborate and kind of interact with our state and federal officials. So thank you.
Thank you, Adrian.
Good evening. I'm Stephanie Detweiler. I'm the Director of Talent and Workforce at Grow Cedar Valley. Our talent and workforce team, we really focus on supporting businesses in the area to attract and retain talent here. So I want to take a few minutes to highlight some of the initiatives and programs we've done, and then I'm going to have my colleague Kelsey also talk about a couple things too. So I'm going to start with the population study. So hopefully you've all heard of our population study. Our consultants ended their work at the end of last year. In January, we had our big reveal event at the Gallagher Blue Dorn. There was over 500 people in attendance for that event, which was awesome to see how engaged our community was in that work. Since January, Katie and I have delivered about 20 different presentations to organizations who are interested in continuing to learn about what we're doing with the population study. So also encouraging that so many organizations are interested in this work. As you might know, the study identified about 90 different action items. And so basically from January till now, what we have been working on is identifying those action items where we feel like we can take a leadership role and figuring out how to incorporate them into our 5-year strategic plan. And then also more recently, figuring out how to implement them into our fiscal year 27 strategic plan. So Katie's going to talk a little bit more about that at the end as well. Another program that I wanted to mention is Intern Connect. So that's been a program we've done for 3 years now, just wanting to focus on keeping young talent here in the area. That's really the goal of it. We actually have our third year session starting tomorrow. And so we have about 30 interns signed up for that. And last year's results were really encouraging. 100% of the interns felt like they were more connected to the Cedar Valley after they went through the Intern Connect program, so we were happy with that. Another one I'll quickly highlight is CVLI. So we've done CVLI, our Cedar Valley Leadership Institute, for about over 40 years now. We just finished up another successful CVLI program with 45 participants, and overall they had a 91% satisfaction rating in the whole program, so that was really encouraging. We're also excited this year for the first time, we're gonna have a CVLI alumni social. It's July 8th, so if you're an alumni, please attend. But it's a way to keep our CVLI group engaged outside of the graduation. Welcome to the Valley is another event I wanted to just briefly talk about. So that is focused on our newcomers to the area, so anybody that's lived here for just 2 or 3 years, we want to engage them and help them build relationships. So we created a Welcome to the Valley event. It was in February. It went over really well. We had 60 people attend. It was at single speed and then a Blackhawks game. We got such positive feedback from it that we are now planning another one for July 30th. So we would hope to do one in the summer and in the winter each year. So our Cedar Valley podcast, we have launched that, and it's been really successful. Jamie and Katie have done an amazing job with that. If you haven't started listening to it, I would encourage you to do that. We've produced 12 episodes and are seeing really strong engagement with about 1,400 streams and almost 600 listeners just since March, so it's really great. Overall, Live the Valley has just been an amazing tool for us to continue to reach out into our community for engagement purposes. So we have our website, we also have our social media channels, and so for social media in general, we've started doing a day in the life with our Instagram and Facebook, and that has reached over hundreds of thousands of followers and people that have seen that, so that's awesome. Our Live the Valley newsletter now reaches more than 3,100 subscribers. The website has also grown dramatically with more than 12,000 views in just the last 30 days alone, and a 3,000% increase since we relaunched the website. So again, these programs are really helping us showcase the Cedar Valley and strengthening our regional brand. And lastly, from my standpoint, I also support businesses as well as Adrian. So one way we do that is through, I do workforce and talent visits, and I did 14 this year. 7 of them were to Cedar Falls businesses. Kelsey and I also have a great relationship with Iowa Workforce Development, and we meet with that team on a quarterly basis. We also are on the rapid response team if there's any layoffs in the area, and just stay close to them so we can help support our businesses as much as possible. And that is it from my end. I'm going to hand it over to Kelsey.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Hi there, Kelsey Kunkel, Talent Workforce Development Manager. For the sake of time, I'm going to bring my talk really down to summary. CVYP, Cedar Valley Young Professionals, we are now 1 year in with launching under Grow Cedar Valley with 112 members in that year, and so that's really exciting as we are now in the planning stages for our next year with them. We've included a few more event offerings, and so in addition to our professional development Wake Up YP, and as well as our networking and socials, we're now offering a community impact and wellness hours events, so that's a new thing. We're in the middle of a year-end survey, and 100% of the CVYP members who took the survey said that they now feel more connected to the Cedar Valley because of CVYP involvement. CVMA, Cedar Valley Manufacturers Association, is another initiative that I help lead and support, and that is the sector board that is now within Grow Cedar Valley. We relaunched in February of this year, and we had 76 attendees at that meeting with 16 companies represented. At that meeting, there was 92% of the attendees that reported they were likely to participate in CVMA meetings and initiatives moving forward. And so that is a group that we are now addressing a lot of different focus areas outside of workforce development, and that is innovation and collaboration, advocacy, and image of manufacturing. We have quarterly meetings as well as facility tours moving forward, and membership rollout happens July 1. Katie, I will let you finish up then. Yes.
Thank you, Kelsey.
We brought all of those team members because we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot happening at Grow Cedar Valley. So we apologize. We have pushed right up to our time, but I do want to encourage that if you have questions about the work that we're doing, you're curious to learn more, or if there's something we didn't cover today, to please reach out to me. I will, again, provide my contact information after this meeting, just so it's at the top of your inbox if you want to reach out. But we are always here. We are a partner, and we appreciate the relationship we have with the City of Cedar Falls and look forward to working with you in the next fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I can quick, we've got a few minutes. Want to open up to any questions, comments, or anything right now?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I just wanted to shout out the podcast. It's really good, and I've enjoyed all the episodes, and I think you've done a good job of becoming a podcast host in such a short amount of time.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And Danny's always looking to join on those.
Oh, they already had me.
Oh, they've already
He was
had
first.
you?
Yeah,
See,
he
I
was
told
our
you.
inaugural guest.
We should get you in there, Gil.
Nah,
I love that idea.
I think it's a good
I think we
idea.
could make that happen. We'd have a good conversation.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Now, we'll second just, I know a lot of council already knows this, but for the community too, a lot of the work Grow Cedar Valley does, I think a lot of people think of the chamber events, but a lot of the economic development work kind of happens in the background. A lot of the continuous work with Shane, working on new business attraction, leads coming into the state that come through Iowa Economic Development Authority. You know, for some of the new council members was it November? We were able to go to Germany with Grow Cedar Valley, with IEDA for a trip that really we would not have had that opportunity if it wasn't for Grow Cedar Valley. And just to clarify, that was not a fun trip. That was a work trip. A lot of work happening, nothing. Everyone asks, how was Germany? It's like, well, airport, hotel, convention, business meetings, hotel, airport. But so again, thank you for all the work you do, and I know a lot of it happens in the background. Appreciate all that you do.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other further questions, comments, thoughts? All right, seeing none, thank you all again. And that moves us to item number 2, fiscal year 2027 cash management report from Lisa Roding. Thank you, Lisa.
Hi, thank you. think this is all ready to go. Cash management report for fiscal year 2027. Do I have to hit play here? It looks like it's ready. There it goes. Okay. The objectives for tonight's presentation is why we review the cash management report. We will review the investments and rate of return. We will review the cash operating reserves and provide a snapshot of the financial position, and we'll review our capital expenditures program. Having these set policies in place help us to ensure our financial stability, and performing this regular analysis can provide valuable information on the current and the future state of the city's finances.
I'm guessing when Denny gets back there, he'll forward it.
Okay. Should I wait, or should I just?
You can probably go. I know we all got on our screens too.
Okay.
So. Yep, go ahead and keep going.
Cash management review also helps project the anticipated cash receipts, the anticipated cash disbursements. We will review the operating don't look at the screen, Lisa. We will look at 9 major funds in this report, but we should consider all funds when looking at cash management. And we will consider current receipts and disbursements, and we will want to ensure cash and cash reserves are available when needed.
There we go.
There we go. Our investments, we have our short-term excess funds are pooled together. We utilize a checking account and 3 money market accounts for liquid funds. And we do invest in certificates of deposits. And the average rate of return on these for this current 9 months is 3.82%. And that is down from fiscal year 2025, which was 4.46%, and down from 2024 at the 5.29%. We have been able to generate interest in our pooled funds of over $330,000. And again, as I mentioned, the rates have been declining in the past few months. Our investment strategy, we always want to make sure we review our cash flow needs. We want to invest in accordance with the state statutes, federal regulations, and in accordance with our city investment policy. And we want to monitor the current market conditions too. When we invest the funds, we want to make sure we are good public stewards of these funds. We want to manage these funds in accordance to 3 objectives. We want to protect the interest, or protect the principal, so we want to make sure that we do get those funds back. We want to optimize the investment earnings while providing safety and liquidity. And then we want to make sure that we are covering our ongoing or unexpected cash needs. Safety and liquidity are the 2 most important pieces of this over the rate of return. Cash reserves are an important tool for our long-term financial planning and sustainability for the city. We have 3 reasons to hold cash reserves. First, we want to use these cash reserves for our current obligations, to pay our accounts payable vendors, to pay our employee salaries, and we use the property taxes since we receive the majority of those in April and October. We want to make sure that we use those funds to bridge the gaps in between. Second reason is we hold these funds to protect against uncertainties, whether it's an emergency, natural disaster, pandemics, which we've had, or any man-made disasters, such as a cybersecurity attack. Cash reserves provide the assistance during these events. Even if there is federal or state funding available, we usually don't receive those funds till well after the event, and we have cash flow needs in the immediate to take care of those events. Third reason is to hold the cash reserves. It's one of the biggest pieces of our bonding equation. The city has maintained a AAA bond rating since 2020. We do have a bond sale coming up this fall, so we hope to maintain that rating. The upgrade to this AAA bond rating is due to our strong performance as a result of our operating cash balances, and all these reserve balances do ensure to our creditors that we are not a risky local government. But how much cash reserves are enough? We want to make sure that we do meet our current regular operating costs. We want to cover any additional costs. So the CPI for this past calendar year 2025 is at 2.47%. It was down from calendar year 24 at 2.95. We want to be able to use the funds for future grants, for matching opportunities, and we want to watch for any more legislative changes that are coming from our state legislation. And then we look at the cash reserves for future planning of capital project spending. Fund balance reserves are reviewed annually with our final audit, and these balances will be reviewed late October, early September, and that will come forward to you if we do have cash reserves and where we plan to set those aside. It is the city's position to maintain a cash reserve balance in the general fund of the 15 to 25%, and this is used for cash flow and emergency purposes. And in fiscal year 2023, council was directed staff to stay towards the upper end of the 20 to 25%. We also maintain cash reserve funds in these four funds: 20 to 30% in the refuse fund, 65 to 75% in the sewer, 20 to 30% in street fund, and 10 to 20% in the stormwater fund. And we maintain emergency reserves of $1.5 million to $2 million. These two are a financial policy, and they also meet the operating costs for these funds, and then for emergency purposes and bond ratings. This slide here shows a projection for the fiscal year 2027 projected cash balances for the 12 months. The city generally, receives those funds, as I said earlier. During the October and April, we get those large property tax deposits, and then we have spending throughout the year, and then that decline in June is when we have our principal payments for our debt payments, and also we have some more timing of capital projects or gearing up, and any other final expenditures for vehicle maintenance and that sort of thing. Speaking of capital expenditures, staff makes a concerted effort to make those capital expenditures during the months when the revenues are high. Departments adhere to a schedule for making those purchases unless there is an emergency. And departments will need to watch their pricing increases, whether it's from the tariffs or some of the fuel increases that we've had over the past 12 months. The vehicle maintenance program, we've done this for 36 years, so departments will look at the extended life of their vehicles, see if they can map those out onto this schedule, and management will budget those vehicles when they are close to failing, and they will try to adhere to the schedule. But as you know, vehicles do fail, and this schedule is made in advance, so sometimes purchases are changed. In summary tonight, for the fiscal year 2027, we will want to keep an eye on our cash reserves. Rollback and state funding, state backfill will phase out in fiscal year 2029. With the recent legislation of Senate File 2472, we'll want to watch how that affects what those property tax reforms have an effect on our budget. A couple of those items are the consolidated general fund levy will have a limit to 2% growth, and a 35% reserve balance will be in effect. We will want to continue to look at the local and national economies, and then watch for future legislation in the coming years. Tonight, I'd like to thank Stacy Braun-Wagner, our accountant. She's here tonight. She helped me actually get this report prepared, so she was great help. And I'm seeking a motion to approve this fiscal year 2027 cash management report.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. And Jen, just so we can clarify quick while we've got that on the slide, that 35% reserve balance limit, because I know obviously like our sewer one was over that 35%. We're still figuring out for sure that was really for, how did they phrase it?
Says for undesignated for general fund. So I think we're going to be okay, but we're still kind of watching for what the specific definitions are.
Because it seems like the state's goal was to try and control for just holding money with no purpose for it.
Right.
And so we're looking at the guidance on, okay, does that apply to our specific purpose funds, or is that just general purpose unallocated funds? So, but just in case anyone was looking at the numbers and said those don't match up. But any other questions, thoughts, comments from council? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Actually, before, just because we do, is there any public comment on this item tonight? All right, seeing none, all those opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Lisa. And thank you both for all the work on it. All right, and that brings us to last item, number 3, strategic plan, vision statement discussion. And I think, Denny, do I need to run up and grab the clicker if I'm going to do the presentation? Denny, your speaker's not working for you coming in. Could you just grab that for me, Stacy? Thank you. So first off, I want to start off with knowing we do not need to get too far in the weeds on this, because I know how vision statements go, and it's one of those we could spend all night going through this. So quick background is, I know we had worked with the Raftelis, the consultant, to kind of put together what we wanted for the vision statement and the strategic plan. We're looking to approve that document in the final meeting tonight. So I had just kind of been working through some thoughts on, can we shorten it up a bit? It was 36 words long, and the goal, here, I'll just go into the presentation let Denny have a second here. What are your thoughts, Denny?
Give me a sec to get back there. I'll be fine.
His thoughts are he wishes the word magic was still in it.
Yeah. I know that, I mean, you could propose that. Just throw it in there.
Magic.
Okay, thank you, Denny. I want to give a big thank you to Denny and the production team with CFTV, making sure everything runs smoothly since when did Channel 15 start?
I want to say that communication utility, wasn't that voted on in like 1991 or 2? I don't know, something, right? I don't know. It was before me even. So, you know.
Well, if it's before you, then we're in trouble. All right, thank you, Denny. All right. So what's the point of a vision statement? And really, to me, looking at it and why I'm proposing this was just going back to that, for me, functionally, a vision statement is really meant to serve as something that you can actually test decisions against and ask, does this decision we're about to make meet that vision statement and move us toward it? So here's the current vision statement that we had through the strategic planning process. So Cedar Falls is a welcoming and safe community with a small town feel and big city amenities and a strong sense of connection that creates the magic that makes it home. And so what I kind of did was look at this and look at, are there ways to just make this a more functional statement that's easier to use if we're going to test things against it, while keeping, I think, what we thought were the key elements of that, what we were trying to communicate. And so what I came up with is where small town heart meets big city amenities, a place crafted by neighbors, cherished as home. And a couple of the key parts there was still trying to capture the safe, welcoming, rather than just saying it though, kind of building into the words, so using words like heart. And again, you can see as I get into this, we could talk all night on, like, what does it all mean, Basil? And so just kind of trying to get everyone's thoughts tonight. So then place crafted by neighbors. Again, the word crafted is very specific, getting to that real hometown feel, building this as a community, and then the cherished as home. So a few of those functional elements are, one, the small town heart meets big city amenities. I think that was a key element, was that balance between, we don't want to lose that small town feel and the heart that comes with that, but we also don't necessarily just want to be a small town. We want the amenities that come with being a college community, that come with being a larger city that has a lot of those cultural activities. The second part being that neighborhood involvement, or the neighborhood involvement in the process and the process of running the city, making decisions. And then that third part being that feeling of home was something we didn't want to lose. So again, kind of just go into that first statement, the small town heart meets big city amenities, functionally is really about, are we safe, walkable, historic? Do we have those big city amenities, the top tier recreation amenities like trails, parks, the river park, and then the thriving downtown, arts and culture scene. So just examples of functionally using this is, are we investing heavily in projects that enhance lifestyle and convenience, that build on our trails, that build on our walkability? The don'ts then are, are approving new developments that take away from the historic feeling, that take away from the walkability. And then questions to ask if we're doing a big decision is, does this initiative add to that mix of amenities, but does it do so without destroying that small town feel? And then the second part of that is that more emotional piece of, crafted by neighbors, cherished as home, and getting into that quality of life, the people, the culture, and emphasizing that we want to be a place that has progress, that we're seeing new things and creating new things, but we're doing that together. We're doing that with a sense of community engagement. Staff already does an incredible job of engaging with the community. The parks that we're working on right now is a good example where we get a lot of community feedback and input in that during the process, so that when we get to a decision, it's been crafted with that neighborhood involvement and community input. So similar for how we use this, it's prioritizing transparency, community input, resident-led initiatives in the community and supporting those, creating more volunteer opportunities, leaning on our advisory boards, our boards and commissions, and engaging with them, supporting local businesses, and then also hiring people that demonstrate that neighborly connectedness feelings, people that value the emphasis on working with the community. And then the don't do this piece is, imposing major changes without involvement from the community. And again, these are things I think we already do a great job of, but just building them into that and how we use this. Outsourcing projects to generic national firms and not getting community input in that process. Or treating our residents as passive customers rather than active stakeholders and participants in that. And again, the questions to ask as we make decisions are, empowering our neighbors to help us shape these projects? Does the end result make the city feel more like home for those of us that live here and those looking to come here? So again, just kind of looking for any council thoughts on looking at moving ahead with a revised vision statement. Again, there's nothing wrong with the statement that we have now. It's just, I was functionally looking at it and didn't want us to just approve something because it was kind of what the consultant brought to us. And I know it was something we agreed to, but didn't know if it was something that could use a little cleanup, or if not, we can just leave it as is. And so any thoughts from council?
Well, we did spend a lot of time with it. We're wordsmithing again, I mean, we spent an inordinate amount of time coming to an agreement with what was there before. I'm agnostic, okay? I mean, I understand why you did that, but, I could sit down with my thesaurus and do the same thing, and I think I could provide the same justification. So what concerns me a little bit is that there was that collective effort. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't kind of passed down to us by the consultant. It was agreed to back and forth by the council until I think we had some form of agreement.
It felt like it, or
Yeah.
we were just
Yeah,
going down.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was something we
that's,
agreed to.
that's the other thing that could happen is that we could tweak every word, and then really what happens, we just get tired. It's like, okay, this is
Well, I
good.
think that's where we ended up. And again, the irony that I know I'm bringing something I've thought of that also says we should be doing these things in a group discussion. So I'm perfectly fine leaving it as is. I just also, as a person that's been through these processes, value the cleaner statement. But if we feel we've already done the work, we've agreed to this as a group, we don't need to change it. So thank you for that thought, because it's...
I'm fine with the change, too. It's just that, if we want to honor the process we went through.
Yep.
That's the only thing I'm thinking of. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm okay with changing it. I do agree that it was a work that we all did together. But I'm good with either. It's the least of my concerns right now.
I know. Yep.
I'd say that we'll leave it for, until next goal setting, and I particularly like that. If we
Not
want to
goals, maybe
address
a next strategic plan.
it. But I like having Cedar Falls in the statement.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead. You weren't even there for it. What's your thought?
I don't know. It'd be new thought then, Robert, right? I like shorter things that get to the heart of the thing. And I don't have a problem with the statement, other than I'd probably put a few new words in it, a couple of different words in it, like instead of big city amenities, it would say where a small town heart has the pulse with big city, has a pulse of big city amenities. Other than that, it's just more action oriented. This is kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing these, but I don't have I like a shorter statement, but it's not the end of the world. So, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. And I will say, at this point, I think I'm just going to make an executive decision to rescind my change, just because I do think the fact that we, as a group, came up with the original one, and even just hearing Craig, you maybe throw out a few new words, I do think it's fair to the process that we did craft that previous one. And I think just based on the quick feedback, I feel comfortable leaving it as is, because I do feel like otherwise maybe it would come off as something that we just changed to change. And
Do you plan on pulling it out a lot, like in party settings?
hey, you never know
Otherwise,
when
you
you never know when at the party you're going to be like, you know what the vision statement is.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Shorter
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited that we're going to leave magic in there, so.
I do know it's actually, I think, if we could
You
get.
fought for that.
I fought really hard
She
for
did
magic.
fight really hard for that. So, okay, well, unless anyone wants to push me to not change my proposal, I think we'll just leave it as is. And all right, thank you guys for dealing with my wanting to just sit down and wordsmith stuff. All right, and with that, we will call this meeting to a close and adjournment, and we will be back at 7 o'clock for our regularly scheduled city council meeting. So, thank you, everyone.